The following program is a production of Pioneer Public Television.
In this episode of Postcards.
This is what I want to do. I want to create theater in small towns, and I want to tell stories, and I want to bring people together, and I want to remind them what they have and help revitalize these communities.
I think the Grand is unique in that it's really supported by the community. There are a lot of small town theaters that closed many years ago, and Grand's always had great community support.
I can't ever remember even wanting to be a dancer. I just always was a dancer.
This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yekel Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. The Arrowwood Resort and Conference Center, your ideal choice for Minnesota resorts offering luxury townhomes, 18 holes of golf, Darling Reflection Spa, Big Splash Water Park, and much more. Alexandria, Minnesota, a relaxing vacation or great location for an event. Explore alex.com. Easy to get to, hard to leave.
Place-based productions create stories around the history and needs of specific communities, involving the local people and landscape in the performance.
I'm the producer and director for Place-Based Productions, and Place-Based Productions is a theater company that does site-specific, community-based works of art, interactive in nature, based on the stories of an area, the history of the area, and the kind of current climate of a community, looking backwards in order to look forward. It's the kind of goal of the productions that we create.
We want to create places in small communities where people can gather to tell their stories and reenact their stories and find how their stories are just as relevant to their lives today and their lives in the futures, in all of their potential futures, as those stories were to the past.
Place-based productions comes into these small towns is because it's a passion of both Andrew and mine to share these stories in the hopes that we can pass on that love of community that existed in previous generations, to highlight some of the resources that I think oftentimes just get forgotten about, to reinvigorate that life force of the small town America. So Place-Based has a 3-stage model that we follow, that we've developed over the past year and a half. The first phase is the community research and script development phase, and at that point, it's really where we're embedding ourselves in the community, where we're talking to people who are already gathered, and then we also hold these story swap workshops to gather and generate as much material as we can. So by the time that the research phase is done, we have way more stories than we know what to do with. But so really the hard part is whittling that down and really picking the hour and a half of stories we want to highlight and stringing that narrative together, which is in the script development phase. And at that juncture, we are in constant dialogue with each other, Andrew and I, as well as with the community. We share the script with a few folks that we've gotten to know really well and that have a lot of the facts in place that we can say, are we accurately representing your community? Is what we're saying completely factual? Did we get the names right? Or fictional, or are we, how are we representing this in a way that is true to the voice of the community? And take that feedback, and some of it we apply, and some of it we, take artistic liberties with.
You could name your child after me.
She's a girl, Captain.
Well, that's okay then.
Captain, she's beautiful. I'm so glad we came on this trip. even against the advice of my doctor.
I love you, dearest.
We send out a call for auditions to papers all over the area, and we have 2 days.
I picked a different song. Good. I like a different song. Because it was from Wicked, and it's just like, when I heard it, it's like, it made me think of you guys. So, yeah. Okay. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason.
A sombrero, or a pork pie, or a slouch, even a fascinator, long as you can see it. Because you will not catch me dead without a hat upon my head, and if I turn a couple of heads my way, so be it.
Awesome.
Once the rehearsal process begins, then that's the mode that I enjoy most. Time just flies by, and it's working with people who I love and challenging people and being challenged in return, and it's lots of dialogue, it's lots of just very powerful human interactions.
I think that this process is transformational in a way that is really hard to convey. I think in some respects, me being in the position that I'm in with the newspaper, I'm able to get a bird's eye view of the community, and you can see the ripple effects. And I've been through it. This again my third time. I've seen it enough where I know that the effects are going to be profound and they're going to be positive, and it's going to leave the community better. I'm excited to see how it manifests itself.
My name is Barb Benson. I was Barb Lundell, and our family is in the play. I mean, my dad, my grandfather even, they're quoting, or they're having be part of the play. And my mom and dad and my sister and I. Ashley and Andrew are great. They just really are, and they get everybody excited and, make it fun. And that's good.
I think we work well together because we share the same goals for what we're doing. And our goals relate to creating community, building community, making great art, working in a dialogical way.
With each production, the partnering organization that we work with has full rights to the script. The community can access the script. If they wanted to produce it again without us, that would be absolutely awesome and encouraged. So it belongs here, because we can't mount this show somewhere else. It is of the landscape, and it is written for the landscape and for the people that walk through the door at auditions. So it lives here. This is what I want to do. I want to create theater in small towns, and I want to tell stories, and I want to bring people together, and I want to remind them what they have and help revitalize these communities, because they can't go away.
Visit Pioneer.org for more information on postcards and other Pioneer productions. With its Art Deco flair and improved digital sound and quality, the community of Madison takes pride in their local movie theater, The Grand.
Well, I got involved in The Grand about 20 years ago when Rick Gale, who's the local newspaper editor, came up to me and said that he and I ought to get together and reopen the theater, which had been closed for a couple of years. So the city actually owned it then, and the city actually owns it now. So Rick Gale and I formed a partnership and reopened the theater, running it 4 nights a week, as we do now. And Rick dropped out a couple of years into the partnership after we got it going, and my partner now is Christy Kuchenmeister, who's also the office manager over at the radio station. Has been with us there for 29 years, so Christy and I are the operators of the theater. No, we really don't make any money with the Grand Theater. We do it as a public service. It's kind of fun just to have something to get people in and see some cars on Main Street. I guess one thing that intrigued me about the whole thing, I kind of like the mechanical side of the whole thing. So the projectors and playing with all the toys in the theater was kind of fascinating. And now that we've entered into the digital age where we have the computers, I'm looking at computers all day at the radio station, so now we look at computers all night when we come over here to the Grand Theater. So it's just kind of fun, little challenge to keep it all going. The Grand Theater opened in the early 1900s and ran as a single-screen theater for a lot of years. In about 1939, I believe it was, the film caught on fire and the theater burned down to the ground, and the projectionist at the time was killed in that accident, but no one else was injured. And then in about 1941 or 1942, the Grand was built again and operated as a single-screen theater till probably sometime in the 80s when another screen was added, and it is what it is today. A lot of the architecture here at the Grand is from Art Deco period, back in the 40s into the 50s. Got a lot of wings and circles and kind of geometric designs and things like that. We tried to maintain a lot of that when we did a lot of the restructuring or rebuilding of the theater when the heating was added and this kind of thing. We tried to leave a lot of the older decor in the theater so that it would maintain the decor and a lot of memories for people of all of the decorations we have on the wall. To get the theater into the digital age, we started checking around with some of the companies that do the digital conversions and getting some price quotes, and we just started raising money, contacting people, sending letters out, doing articles in the local paper and elsewhere about what we were doing, and we started raising money. I think our biggest donor of the whole project was a $5,000 donation that came in from a former Madison resident who now lives in California. But most of it was done with $1,000, $500, or $100 donations. So there's an awful lot of donations that came in to raise it was about $106,000 we raised there, and the rest of the money coming from some city reserves that are there for the theater. We took about 3 days to do the whole installation, to remove the old equipment and get everything new installed. So it was 3 solid days, and we were back in business by the first matinee we showed on a Friday afternoon. Some of the changes we made, we put in new screens in both theaters, put in new masking around the screens, did a little painting, new projection equipment, surround sound speakers, which we didn't have before. Before it was just an old speaker one speaker sitting behind the stage, and now there are 3 cabinets behind each screen, and surround sound speakers around the walls, and several hundred watts of power. It's like being right in the middle of it now with all of that. And the picture is nice and crystal clear with the digital presentation. People that come here from larger cities are surprised how low the prices are for price of admission. The average price in the country, I think, is about $12 to $15 right now, and we're still averaging around $5 here at the Grand. And popcorn's good, and it's a lot cheaper than other places too. I think the Grand is unique in that it's really supported by the community. There are a lot of small-town theaters that closed many years ago, and the Grand's always had great community support. And it's just kind of a gathering place for the community, something for the kids to do. Some of the people that have donated money for it probably haven't ever set foot in it, but they see the importance of having a movie theater in their community. It's something that other communities don't have.
I remember coming here with my folks in the 50s. We'd come and watch Three Stooges and Ma Pa Kittle and a lot of Westerns. Really enjoyed them.
We moved to Madison when I was 5, and I've been going here ever since.
I like coming to the Grand Theater because I get candy and slushies and I get to see movies.
It's local. It's locally run and locally, so we don't have to drive 100 miles to see a nice movie and have fun, and very reasonable.
It's not very far, and it's very convenient just to go with my friends whenever we feel like it, like a Friday night.
See a movie at the Grand Theater in Madison, Minnesota, showing Friday, September 13th through Monday, September 16th in Theater 1. It's Disney's Planes, rated PG. Animated kids comedy, that's Planes, PG in Theater 1. And in Theater 2, Matt Damon and Jodie Foster star in a science fiction fantasy, Elysium. That's Elysium, rated R in Theater 2. Showtime 7 and 9, Friday and Saturday, once nightly at 7, and Sunday and Monday at the Grand.
Do you have an idea for the postcards team? Email us, postcards@pioneer.org. Find out why Sarah Consbrook decided to leave her master's degree behind and instead spends her time sharing her love of dance and fitness with young and old alike.
I don't even know why I started dancing. I was 3 years old. I'm sure it was something that my parents signed me up for, thinking that I would enjoy. I'm sure not realizing that it would turn into almost a career for me. Did I always think I was a good dancer? No. I think when I finally getting really confident in my dancing wasn't until college, where I was able to just be really comfortable in my own skin and feel good on stage. I was a school counselor for 2 years, part-time, and I had to travel to get to the school that had hired me. And the travel just turned too much. I was doing the school counseling thing 2 days a week. I was working in the town where I lived for a couple days a week. I was waitressing on the weekends, teaching dance and fitness in the evenings. It was insane. It was just so much. So this year I decided that something had to go, and it was the school counseling thing, strangely enough, even though that's what I had my degree in and what I had worked for all of college and all of grad school. I didn't love it as much as I love dancing. I do like to work. I like to be busy, I think is the better description. Standing still is just not something that I was ever really good at. So, and I just happen to work a lot. I'm learning that there are other important things besides work. Relationships being one of them. So a new relationship has made me realize like I can slow down and I can stop and smell the roses, more or less. The studio that I teach at locally is called Footnotes Studio of Dance. And Footnotes has been around since 2004, where actually my best friend opened the doors our senior year in college. So we were both college seniors working to finish our degrees, and my friend decided she needed to open a dance studio. So I stood by her and helped her out with the knowledge that I was going to be leaving and going to grad school the following year. So I helped her open that up and taught with her, worked with her very closely on that. She continued running the studio while I was in grad school, and then when I ended up coming back to town, she welcomed me back with open arms and was really excited to have me teaching for her again. So, yeah. When I was in college, I was a member of a student organization called Dance Ensemble, and through my 4 years of college, I choreographed for them, and then I spent a year as the co-chair of their organization. And then now coming back to town, the organization has asked me to choreograph for them. So this will be the third year in a row now that I've been the guest choreographer for Dance Ensemble. Not only am I working with young dancers, 4th grade to 12th grade, but I'm also working with college students and teaching the dance that way too. I am a licensed Zumba instructor, and Zumba is a dance fitness class that emphasizes Latin dance and Latin styles, but that's not all it is. It's really an international dance, an international music style of a fitness class. It's a lot of fun. You can incorporate tons of different dance styles, tons of different music styles, some things that are top 40 pop music, then you've got a salsa song that is 20 years old, or you can incorporate just about anything and call it Zumba. I love teaching Zumba, especially to non-dancers, because somebody who was a basketball player growing up will come to class and be really successful, or somebody who had never really done a lot of sports or fitness types of things will come to a Zumba class and leave with a big smile on their face, and that's what I love about Zumba.
I'm not a dancer, but whenever I do Zumba, I feel like I can dance. I love Sarah's Zumba because she has so much fun doing it. Like, her face, like you can see on her face that she just loves what she's doing.
It's been a long time, but I did come to the very first class and I've loved it ever since. It actually motivated me to start working out because it actually is a fun workout. She makes it enjoyable, she makes it energetic, and she just does a great job, and it's a lot of fun.
For dance, I do all my own choreography. I will get inspiration from different things or see maybe another group did a similar style and borrow ideas from that. I really like getting ideas from my young dancers. They come up with some pretty crazy stuff, but once in a while, something that they do or a way that they move will inspire a combination or a movement for me in the choreography. I can't ever remember even wanting to be a dancer. I just always was a dancer. I started dancing when I was 3 and pretty much never stopped.
Do you use Facebook, Twitter, or other social media? Connect with us to get immediate access to behind-the-scenes videos, previews, and other postcards and Pioneer news.
Drag, but not mine. Although my walk's empty most of the time. All the sun shining on my back. Well, listen to the sound of them old smokestacks. Yeah, I'll never know which way I ought to go. I raise one finger to the wind and it's down the road I go. So when you're feeling down and out, oh, don't you fret, don't you pout. When I hear the people say, times is hard, the skies are gray, all the singing life's a drag, but not mine. But not mine. Although the market's always in decline. You see, I don't own a fancy car. Your houses, they're made of golden bars. Oh, well, this recession, man, it gives me the impression that some folks must learn a lesson, 'cause I can't feel a thing. So when your bank account is low and you're feeling like there ain't no place to go, oh, when I hear the people say, times is hard, the skies are gray, all be singing life's a drag, but not mine, not mine. Oh, yeah. Drag, but not mine. But not mine. Oh, when I was 5, pedaling down the road on tempered steel. My legs too short to ride an automobile. Oh, it was sad to see me go. I saw my face on telephone poles. I raised one finger to the wind, and it's down the road I go. So when you're feeling down the doubts, oh, don't you fret, don't you pout. When I hear the people say times is hard, skies are gray, I'll be singing lots of Drake, but not mine. Oh no, I'll be singing lots of Drake, but not mine. Oh.
He cut her in half with a shiny steel saw. He put her all back together, and I was in awe as rabbits and doves and bandanas appeared. And he pulled a quarter right out of my ear. And I turned to my dad and I said, how'd he do it? And my daddy, he just laughed and he said, as soon as the helicopter passes, I'll tell you, there's nothing to it. It's magic, and you don't want to know just how it's done. It would ruin the show. You just got to believe, 'cause believing is what makes it happen. Oh, it's nothing but magic, magic, magic. That's your part, do it with me. It's magic, it's magic, it's magic. I fell in love the first time in 8th grade, and I started shaving the very next day.
This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yackel-Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. The Arrowwood Resort and Conference Center, your ideal choice for Minnesota resorts offering luxury townhomes, 18 holes of golf, Darling Reflection Spa, Big Splash Water Park, and much more. Alexandria, Minnesota, a relaxing vacation or great location for an event. Explore alex.com. Easy to get to, hard to leave.